Here's Jo Diaz.
How does it compare to the competition you face? You just knocked out Terrazas. I think Terrazas went several rounds with Leo several years ago.
Yeah, no. Gary Russell, he's going to be the toughest fight that I've fought by far from the amateurs and the pro. I mean, I fought a lot of internationally in the amateurs, but Gary Russell, he's going to be the toughest fight in my whole boxing career. But I'm capable of and knowing that I'm going to defeat him come fight night. I know that he's fast, but I do see a lot of flaws in this game. I know that he tends to open up. I know that his body's going to be vulnerable come when I'm fighting on the inside. And he says that he's going to try to knock me out, so I know it's going to be a brawl, and that's what I love to do. I love to brawl. I'm good at fighting on the inside. I'm good at picking some body shots, so let's see how he takes my shots come fight night.
I want to add to that, Lem. Jojo signed right after the Olympics with Golden Boy, done all his fights. The way he's been brought up prepares him for May 19th. He hasn't been brought up like a lot of other fighters. In fact, if you look, his pro debut was against a kid I think was 6-1. Very different. Brought him up a little bit tougher, in every fight tougher. Giving him southpaws, giving him right hands, giving him movers, giving him stalker, he's seen it all. Preparing him for May 19th. I said it earlier. I did a lot of Gary's fights. Look at his record. He's an elite. He's a world champion. He is the best featherweight champion out there, no doubt. But he hasn't been through that except one time. What happened?
Talk about the Lomachenko fight.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let me ask you about Lomachenko, but also his fight with Lomachenko, but also his last fight here was Escondon. He elected to go to war with Escondon. You could have boxed, you could have gone more rounds. He elected to go to war. Do you feel like he elected to go to war? He didn't have a choice. What do you take away from that fight and the Lomachenko fight?
Yeah,
Robert.
With Oscar Escandón, I've seen that he said that he was going to go to war, and he was banging on the inside. He stood there banging, but I mean, Oscar Escandón, he's a little guy. He's just small. He's 4'8" or something, and he wasn't able to hurt Gary Russell Jr. He didn't have that power like I have. I'm gonna come in there with 140 pounds come fight night. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be rugged. I'm gonna be the bigger guy. His punches are not gonna faze me. My punches are gonna be hitting everything. I'm gonna be throwing full throttle, going with all my might, and making sure that he's feeling every single shot come fight night. With the Lomachenko fight, I seen that he was getting tagged a lot in the body. He was getting picked apart. But I feel like I'm going to be the tougher than Lomachenko, because Lomachenko only had 3 fights when he fought Gary Russell Jr. He didn't have that ring experience that he does now. He didn't fight top-notch opposition before he fought Gary Russell. I feel like if Lomachenko would fight Gary Russell now, it'll be a whole different outcome. But with me, I feel like I'm going to be Gary Russell's toughest fight, and I feel like he's underestimating. He's gonna be in for a rude awakening come fight night.
Is it to your advantage to make it more of a brawl, or do you see it? If he decides to box, will you be able to pick your spots and break him down if he decides to try to box?
Yeah, because Gary Russell, he delivers the power, and he gets full power when he's sitting down on his shots. So in order to hurt me, and in order for him to hurt me come fight night, he's gonna have to sit down. He's gonna have to bang with me. If he's gonna be moving around, creating angles, those little pitter-patter shots are not gonna be enough to keep me off. I'm gonna be cutting off the ring, getting rugged on the inside, and making sure that I'm still on his chest. So I don't think when he's moving around, he's not gonna be able to keep me off with just those pitter-patter shots.
One last question. This is his hometown.
Yeah.
If it goes the distance, do you believe you can win a decision, or do you feel like you're going to have to really cause damage to him to make it unequivocal that you won this fight?
Yeah, come fight night, I'm gonna make it clear that I'm beating Gary Russell. I'm gonna beat him up really, really bad every single round. I'm gonna make it tough, rugged, and I'm not gonna let it go to the judges. I'm gonna try to knock him out, and if I don't knock him out, and it does go to the judges are gonna have to give it to me because of the beating I'm gonna give him come fight night.
And as a young fighter, when did you guys know that he was ready to fight at this championship level?
It's a process. It's a process, but it's been about maybe about a year ago that we know he was heading in this direction, and maybe 2 fights ago that we said, speaking to his manager, Ralph Heredia, he is ready. It's his time now. It wasn't just mentally that I want to be a world champion, I want to fight the world champion, but it was also physically, I'm now the man, and my body's turned into it, and we're seeing things in the ring. a good example was his last fight with Terrazas, where he went in there to make a statement. Already being the mandatory, he didn't have to take the fight. A lot of other fighters would have sat out. Why risk getting cut? Why risk losing? Why risk for a small? But he wanted to stay sharp. And he said, I want to fight somebody with a name. Former world champion, Victor Terrazas, made the statement. That's when we knew, right there, he's ready. Not just for Gary Russell, for anybody, but knowing how competitive he is, he wanted the best. And he became the mandatory 2 fights ago.
So in this fight right here, what did you see in Gary that shows you the confidence that you can go in there and dominate?
His last fight with Oscar Escudon. I seen that Oscar Escudon was landing some good body shots and landing some good headshots on Gary Russell, but he just didn't have the power. He's a small guy. He didn't have the power to affect Gary Russell Jr. And Gary Russell, he was able to capitalize and land his counter shots and land a good shot and take him out. But with me, I feel like if I land those shots on Gary Russell Jr., I'm going to be more effective, and he's going to be feeling my shots. So it's going to pay dividends come fight night.
So is it you guys' goal to dominate 126, to unify if you guys win this fight, or to actually, since you'll be a larger guy, to easily move up to 130?
No, we're gonna unify the titles. We're gonna go after Oscar Valdez, Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mades, any champion that's at 126 pounds. We're gonna go after them. I want to become the undisputed 126 pound champion before I move up in weight.
Now, how difficult do you think it'd be to make those fights, since Gary Russell said that guys wanted to fight, but they didn't accept the fight? So whether you think it'd be the same situation with you guys?
You know, it's not easy. Gary's right. It's not easy. I mean, one thing is for one to say, whether it's fan, whether it's the media, whether it's the fighter, I wish I could fight with him. Whether it's the matchmaker, there's fights I would love to make every day, but when there's a will, there's a way. If the other champions want to test themselves, it's not just about defending the title so many times. Fight the best. Win or loss, it doesn't matter, because look, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Benitez, we still talk about them. Tommy Hearns, they all had losses, but that was the great era of boxing. That's what these kind of fighters want to do. They want to fight the best. It's not about the old. It's about being remembered 20 years from now as one of the best.
So what is it going to take for fighters to actually get that, to accept those challenges when, to
stop allowing them to fight the number 30 in the rankings? Come on, step it up. Let's fight the best. Let's give the fans what they want to see. And at the end of the day, it's good for boxing.
And also, is it good for the sanctioning bodies to promote that since they're fighting for those titles?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The sanction bodies should say, look, the best have to fight the best. Every once in a while, you can't be fighting number one every time, because you're going to cut the career short. You get a voluntary here and there, but unification should take over any type of mandatory in that sense. So right now, May 19th, wins the world title. Let's go on, start unification. That's what he wants. He wants to unify, wants to be the only champion in the division. And you know what? You got to love that as a promoter.
Is size a big difference in this situation against Russell? Is your size the big key?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like size is going to play a big factor in come fight night. I'm going to be the bigger guy in there. I feel like his punches are not going to be effective as he is with other opponents. I mean, with Lomachenko. Lomachenko was kind of a bigger guy than Gary Russell, and Gary Russell wasn't able to hurt him or affect him. He did land some blows on Lomachenko, but he didn't affect him at all. And I feel like it's going to be the same outcome come May 19th. I'm going to be the bigger 126-pound fighter in there, and I feel like he's not going to be effective with any of his shots, and I'm going to be taking advantage of those and landing my effective shots.
But it's not just size. Mm-hmm. It's not just size. I mean, here you have size, mm-hmm. a fighter that's been active, that's been brought up tough, that's hungry. Mm-hmm. You could have maybe a 130-pounder fight him that's not ready. So you have size, but you have a kid that's ready, that's hungry, and is willing to take it to wherever he has to do to take that belt home.
All right, good. Best wishes, guys.
Thank you.
Talk about size. How much size?
That's JoJo Roberto Diaz. Now see if we can get over to the Gary Russell camp over here.
We getting everything you need, Rosie. Okay.
Got the strap, bring it here. I wanted to do it at least one more time here. I want to maximize our revenue on all ends. I don't plan on fighting too much longer. I had my first fight at 7 years old. 29 now, going on 30. It's a long time for competing. There's a lot of wear and tear in your body. And I'm one of these guys that don't cut no corners. So it takes away from the time that I can spend with my family, my friends, and etc. I'm ready to spend time with my family, spend time with my children, and live off the fruits of our labor. But in the meantime, everybody else in my way. They trying to take food off my baby's plate. We ain't going for it.
What does it feel like to be fighting?
This one might be a little hard to hear, a little further back.
This last week, how does that feel? Deja vu?
Man, deja vu. In most cases, the outcome is definitely the same. We had deja vu, man. I seen this before. I done this before. That's what's gonna happen. I'm glad that we have another opponent that at least is hungry, that's willing to fight. You know that he's going to give it his 100% physical best. Anyone that steps in the ring with me, they're going to be the best that they could possibly be because they know who they're competing against. And that's what we want. That's definitely what we want. We want somebody that's hungry and all that. When we start poking holes in the gas tank, once again, we ain't going 12.
If you could map out, you talked about fighting 6 more fights. I'm sure you've envisioned how you'd like this to play out. You win this fight, would you have 1 or 2 more, or completely unify this division and then move on? I don't think we'll completely unify the division.
Once again, a lot of the champions in the division aren't in the rush to fight me. They're not trying to fight me. Pretty much got to push them in the ring in order for them to fight me. I would love to unify against whoever wins between Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mars. I'll unify that. After that, I'm immediately moving up in weight. We spoke about Gervonta Davis. He looked really, really good his last fight. He's another guy from the area that I watched develop, so well into this world champion that he is now. But once I move up in weight, he gonna have to get out of the way or get ran over too. Once again, we're trying to maximize the revenue in which that it is because we about to cash out. We cashing out 6 more fights. After that, I still plan on moving up in weight. I would love to get a Mikey Garcia in the ring. And before the conclusion of my career, I want my last fight to definitely be Lomachenko. And we got to do that twice.
So what you're saying, say, for instance, you did get those fights that you wanted to get early on in your career. The people that you say were ducking you or didn't want to accept the fights with you, you think your career pretty much be closing out if you did have a chance to fight those guys earlier?
It depends. I know the conclusion of my career is definitely going to be the same. Before I leave this sport, I got to break my foot off in Lomachenko twice.
So in Ripley, you want to beat this guy, beat the winner of Santa Cruz Mares, possibly beat, fight Gervonta Davis, Garcia, and then Lomachenko. Honestly,
I like Tank. I like Shorty. You know what I'm saying? He's from the area, and I watch him grow. I'm genuinely excited. You know what I'm saying, and happy for him. He's just gonna be in the way. You know what I'm saying? He's somebody that honestly I personally would want to fight just because of the friendship that we have. I watched him compete. He competed against my younger brother before. I watched him grow up. But if he's still there by the time frame that I move up, you gotta have to get out the way, and we might have to see one of these other world champions, or he gonna have to get ran over too.
What's the highest weight class you think you would go to?
It doesn't matter. We can go up to 140 if necessary. I'm willing to meet any of these guys that catch weights. We can go all the way up to 140, and guess what? I'm willing to jump all the way back up in weight, like I say, to 140 and fight Mikey Garcia or any of these guys that catch weight, and then we can drop right back down and finish up with Lomachenko.
So the size situation with JoJo is not to be an issue?
Say it again?
The size situation with JoJo.
What size situation?
His size a little bit.
I don't see a size situation at all.
He's going to come in at 140.
Right.
Well, that also means, what you got to understand is this. That doesn't make sense at all. That doesn't make sense at all because now if you're going to compete, we're fighting at 126, correct? Now, you're telling me from the weigh-in to the fight, you're going to put on all this excess weight. to the nutrition part of that is people don't understand what you eat today doesn't affect you today. It affects you within maybe 3 days later. Your food has to properly break down and digest. So that means you have a whole lot of unnecessary food just sitting on the stomach when he's in the ring. That's basically what I get from that. Just on the just with like it's levels to everything.
So he'll be sluggish.
Yeah, he'll be way sluggish. You want to be big and do all that. When I start chopping and dumping his heat to his body and bringing it upstairs, it's going to be an early night.
So you definitely excited the second time being home, you know, in front of your hometown fans?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited. And my only concern is the people that I really, really want to get in the building. I hope it don't sell out before they get the opportunity to get in the building. You know.
You want to get in the building?
Of course, man. I want everybody that I went to school with. You know, the people that I went to elementary school, junior high school, and high school, my teachers, you know, the administrators that was there, the people that I'm seeing when I'm jogging that's honking the horns telling me to keep grinding. You know, I fight not just for myself, but for my city and for everybody that I genuinely care about and that I know that genuinely care about me. So once again, like I told him, when we're in the ring competing, it's not just me that he's fighting. He's fighting everybody else because I'm going to push a little bit harder just for them.
Thank you, Gary. Best wishes.
Talking a lot of trash.
All right, so that's the champion, WBC featherweight champion, Gary Russell Jr. I'm joined by Juan Marshall, and as we hear the MGM National Harper, your quick thoughts on what we've seen today.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting fight. Just the last few statements that Gary said and listening to what Jose Diaz said as far as the weight issue. Mm-hmm. And Gary was absolutely correct as far as will he be able to maintain the proper health, as far as health going into putting that kind of weight on, what his diet is going to be like coming into that fight. And also, is he going to be sluggish? Because we already know how the speed that Gary Russell holds coming into the ring. Mm-hmm. Will Diaz really be able to adapt to that, or is it just his excitement and his desire and his dedication to wanting this fight, making him talk this way? So, the real proof is in the pudding when the fight happens.
No question about it. I mean, both guys talking future already, which I find very interesting as well. They're not just focused on this fight; they're looking beyond this fight.
And I can understand Gary's position on talking about future because he is the world champion. Right. He has been in this longer, and also he knows the ins and outs of what he's been trying to do as far as making fights, and fights haven't been happening that he wants to make. And I can understand his thought process as far as wanting to get in, like he's getting older. He wants 29 going on 30, and I can understand those decisions that he's making right now and the future decisions, which basically says that he's on a time limit. And that's true. It's absolutely true. He has some fighters right now. The way it sounds like they're not gunning for him because they're not wanting to fight him. But you have young guys like Diaz that's trying to gun for him, and then you see, based on the outcome of this fight, if Diaz puts on a good performance, then you're going to see the rest of those guys say, "Well, I'll fight him now," but they'd probably jump over him and go to Diaz. Yeah. So that's when Gary has to look for his, look forward to his career.
It'll be interesting. We're live from the Tap Sports Bar here in Ox Hill, Maryland, MGM National Harbor. It'll be Saturday, May 19th. Gary Russell Jr. defending his WBC featherweight championship against undefeated Jo Diaz. For Juan Marshall, I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thanks for joining us. Get your tickets in advance. Saturday, May 19th from the MGM National Harbor. Take care, everyone.